You ever told yourself that from now on, you're going to work out 3, 4, 5 times a week and really commit yourself to getting in shape and doing more sports and eating healthier? Just to realize that 2 weeks after, somewhat, you skipped the gym already twice this week and like, why should I go now? I already skipped anyways. Happened to all of us. Happened to all of us. So no need to feel bad about that. What I'm going to give you in this episode is a very simple but even more effective strategic implementation that you can do right now if you struggled in the past to stay consistent with your workouts, to change that trajectory and finally make this a regular habit without even having to think about it, without even having to make it second nature, right? Very simple, very straightforward. What I want you to do right now, we're going to do this interactive, is pull up your calendar right now. Pause this episode, pull up your calendar. Now, when you look at your calendar, we all use them. Count how many slots a week of your calendar, one-on-ones, catch-ups, all sorts of meetings. Count each one of them and what number do you get to when you see how many times do you accommodate someone else. Pause the podcast right here and count that quickly for you. Look into your calendar and see how many other people and other time slots within your week you accommodate other people. For some, it might be 5. It's probably going to be more closer to 10, 20, maybe even 30, depending on your role. Now, count when you did that, when you do that number. Do the same, but this time, count how many times you accommodate yourself. You have time reserved for yourself. Do that right now and pause this episode again. How many times do you have time scheduled with yourself in the calendar? If you're like most of us, like most high performers, it's probably going to be somewhere close to 0. Isn't it kind of crazy that we accommodate so many other people and so many other time slots within our week, but not a single slot for ourselves? Others will call that imbalance. This has nothing to do with work-life balance. This is completely out of balance. And if you're someone that uses your calendar very regularly, like I do, then this is going to be golden for you. In the book Atomic Habits, there are similar principles taught that take a little bit more effort, but this one is going to be so easy. Of course, in the first place, you have to decide, okay, what am I even going to do, right? The very first question actually I would have to ask myself is like, okay, what is the exact goal? Because depending on your goal, like your exercise selection or exercise type might be different. If you're like most of us and looking to get a lean body, you want to get rid of your belly fat, you want to have a strong looking athletic body, then if you had to focus your time and energy only on one type of exercise, then it will have to be resistance training, right? No other way. Cardio is nice and good, it's good for your heart health, but if your main goal, if you could only pick one, then it will have to be resistance training. And the funny thing is actually, why? But I'm not like doing like hard, healthy stuff. Well, if you do resistance training with an antagonistic supersize style of set type of workout, this means essentially you bundle 2 exercises with each other that use opposite muscle groups. Just like to make a simple example quickly. Let's say just a push-up as an example. If you take push-ups and you would combine that with another exercise, let's say a row, a cable row or a lat pull down, or if you're strong enough to do a pull-up, you can combine these 2 because each exercise of these 2, they don't interfere with each other. So that means the push-up uses completely different muscle groups than a pull-up would do or a cable row would do or any sort of like maybe a dumbbell row, for example. So you can pair these together. Now, when you do your first set of push-up after you're warmed up properly, of course, you can jump directly into the other exercise. And what that's going to do is going to cut your workout time close to half. You're going to get an additional stimulus for the opposite muscle group, right away, and it's going to train your cardiovascular system. It's going to have a cardio training like effect on your system too. So you're going to be more time efficient. You're going to train your cardio health at the same time, and it goes just quicker by, right? Saving time is an important thing because we can definitely, all of us, we can use our time doing better stuff than spending unnecessary time in the gym. So coming back to the original topic. So let's say you have your workout routine already dialed in. If you're looking for one, go to my profile, either on Instagram, and shoot me a DM. I can happy to send you one over that exactly does that. I have a few of these ready to go. Now, then you have to of course, okay, I do my resistance training. Let's just say for this example, you're going to go to the gym. You signed up to the gym, and what you will have to do, and that's where your calendar now comes back into place, is when you already plan and accommodate other people, start now accommodating yourself into your calendar too. Book dedicated time slots into your calendar and decide in the beginning, 2 times is more than enough. Don't overdo it. You don't have to do 5 times a week. It's nonsense. Not even I do 5 times a week. Book your training sessions in advance before the week starts into your calendar. And the best thing that you can actually do is make them a reoccurring event. All my workouts are scheduled in my calendar. So whenever, and I have a few also if you have booking links and people can book into your calendar, it will make sure that your time there will be respected because you blocked it out already. And if you do that, you will not run by the end of the day into but somebody booked in and this happened and that happened and everything. There's always things that can happen. But you reduce your chance of missing the gym by a massive portion. So when you look at your calendar and whenever you do planning for your week, it's already there. It's already scheduled. And every time you look at your calendar, it's probably going to be 10, 20 times a day, if not more. Every time you will have that reinforcement and will be reminded about, Thursday, 10 a.m., I booked an hour in the gym and I'm going to freaking make it work, right? Also, ideally, pro tip, book a little bit time before and afterwards, because obviously if you plan to go, let's say, for this example, to the gym from 10 to 11, but you have somebody booking in from 10:30 to 11, your time in the gym will probably take a hit. So you plan a little bit of a buffer. And if you do that twice a week, let's say even once a week during your work week and once on the weekend, and if you do 2 times consistently, that's 2 times more than you would usually do. 2 times a week over a year will make a massive difference in your journey, in your physical appearance. I go even so far that I have not only my workout scheduled into my calendar, but I even have my sleep window scheduled in my calendar. My dedicated, the plan that I have to do. I plan for 8 hours, and I usually try to be between, depending on where I am in the world, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., or if I'm in another time zone, for example, I get up a little bit earlier, so 9:30 to 5:30. Because what that does, every time I open my calendar and look at it, I'm 10 p.m., that's when I wanted to be in bed. I also, even on top of that, have an hour before sleep time. I have a block, which a habit that I'm working on right now is reducing screen time. If it's work, if it's on the phone, just to not have that much screen time. And that is also scheduled right now in my calendar, because every time that I now work and I have meetings and talk to clients, every time I see that, I'm at 9, screen off. And every single time it reinforces that habit. So you have such a high exposure to this that this will become, over time, it's just a matter of time how it will become a habit. Absolutely naturally. I go so far, if it's not in the calendar, it's not happening. Literally. If I have anything that has to do with an appointment, I have it in my calendar. And that's also how I approach it with myself. So for example, my first hour of the day is completely blocked out. Nobody can book into first half of the day, nobody can book into my calendar, but I have the first hour of the day reserved for my morning routine and, spending some time with my partner, to be really give the people that I love also the time that they deserve. And then also, like, I have even my planned my lunches and my dinners, my breakfast, everything is scheduled into the calendar. Honestly, these are open slots, so this doesn't mean that, you know, like nothing. It's just like a reinforcement. So I'm like, okay, 8 a.m. breakfast, 1 p.m. lunch, 7 p.m. dinner, right? So whenever you're working and you're getting work done and you look at your calendar, you're like, oh, damn, yeah, I want to be on my schedule. Because also, like, eating at irregular times is not a good thing if you want to prioritize your health and your body composition. Especially eating too close to bedtime is something that really wrecks you up, like really bad. Really make sure that you have at least 3 hours, even better 4 hours between your last meal and when you go to bed, because that's when your body needs time to digest first so you can properly recover. Because if you don't do that, your restorative sleep will suffer, your heart rate doesn't go as low, you won't recover as fast. And if you're already trying to perform throughout the day, not the best combination, right? Now, to do that right now, this is your homework right now, like I said. Decide on what type of workout. Decide first what's your goal. Then decide on some sort of workout that you're going to stay consistent with it. Like in the worst case, even like do whatever. If you say like, oh, I like to play tennis, or I want to play with my buddies, basketball, football, with my kids, schedule it in your calendar, and especially the gym. Schedule and reserve it. Every time you see it, you will have that reinforcement and it will naturally be programmed into your mind. And then the only thing is just like holding yourself accountable to actually like take your meetings seriously, even if they're just quote unquote with yourself. Because the funny thing is, we always take other meetings very seriously. We always want to make sure, oh, we don't disappoint anyone else. Like we don't want to piss anyone off. But we don't do the same thing for ourselves. Isn't that kind of crazy? It's mind-boggling. The analogy of why you should, in an airplane situation where the oxygen masks come out, when you have to first put the mask on yourself before you help others, there's a reason for that. Because if you can't help yourself first and you run out of oxygen, or you burn out, or you have low energy, you won't be able to serve others. If it's your colleagues, if it's your boss, if it's your family, if it's your kids. If you will not prioritize yourself in the first place, you will not be able to serve others at the highest level possible. One of my elite clients, Olivier, we also have an amazing story of him where he actually mentions that in his interview that I did with him. And he said one of his biggest realizations, he lost 21 kilos in his journey. By the time right now, probably like 22 or 23. One of his biggest realizations was to prioritize himself. He was like, I have no idea how I was able to operate for so long and like what I've been doing for so long, trying to like put out fires for someone else, and like I kept myself on the last seat. And it took a hit. Like if you have a look at the video there, it's on my YouTube. He was like I mean, I have to be honest, he was brutally out of shape. He was running on fumes. He was business-wise successful, like great job, great family, but his physical appearance told something else. And now that we optimized his schedule, that we also scheduled his workouts into his calendar, and that he went through this whole transformation and looks like unrecognizable. He's been promoted to the boardroom. He made massive, like he started earning more. It's just crazy what happened to him. Like really recommend you check that out. His biggest realization was first me, then my family, then my work. People would think that's counterintuitive. No, I have to like serve the company first and my family first. Like I have to come last. Well, if that would be true, how come was he having a lot of success before that already? And now that he changed it, he even excelled even more. Anybody that you ask, every successful entrepreneur, every elite, every executive that was already successful before and then got into shape will tell you the exact same thing, that they started making more money, that they started showing up better, that they started showing up more energetic. If you put boundaries for yourself, people will respect that, because most people can't do that for themselves. And if you're the one that can set it, you will also start inspiring others. It's exactly the same thing that also happened to him. You first, then family, then work. This doesn't mean that if your wife is in the hospital or something like that, you wouldn't go there and be like, oh no, I have to go to the gym first. No, of course not. But if you're like, oh, like I can't spend time with my kids, and then I'm out of energy, and you know, like these are the common, like, all honesty, BS excuses that I get to hear. The reason you don't have energy to work out is because you don't work out. Once you start going consistently to your workouts, to the gym, if it's outdoor, indoor, doesn't matter. Once you start consistently showing up, your energy levels will improve significantly. Like, you have no idea. But the first step in getting there, you can't start climbing a mountain at the peak. You have to start from the bottom. And one of the things that you can do right now is, after you finish this episode, take up your calendar, do the exercise that we did in the beginning, start adding your meetings with yourself, your workouts, maybe even your sleep time, because if you struggle to go to bed on the right time, might be also worth doing. And then every time you look at it, you get that reinforcement, and every time you see it, it will program into your mind, and your chances of making this a consistent habit will exponentially increase. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the podcast, subscribe down below, leave me a reading, and I'll see you in the next episode.